Welcome to Kitty Unfiltered. My name is Kitty and this is This Week on Trial, Week 3 opening statements. Now I have a Tarte event coming up very soon at work, so this week is going to be very Tarte product heavy. So starting with the primer, it is the Tarte Timeless Smoothing Primer. It's just kind of a, I don't know what to say, it's like a balm type, one of those kind of thicker coverage ones. We shall see how that works. Then for face, I have two. They both say that they're moisturizers and they're from the BB line, but this one is an illuminating moisturizer. So it's something that I use to just mix in with foundations to make them a little bronzier, a little shinier. And then I have the Tarte BB Amazonian Clay Tinted Moisturizer with an SPF of 20. Now I don't know how well these two are going to shade match me right now, but since I'm not going anywhere today, it is the perfect day to find out, and then that way I can still at least wear them around the house if they're not quite the right color and get a feel how the products work. Since I normally mix this with a foundation, and this is more a BB cream than a foundation, I'm going to start off by using them kind of more as they say. This says it's a moisturizer, so I'm going to use it first as my moisturizer, and then I'm going to use this as my foundation. For eyeshadow, I'm going to be using my Tartist Pro palette. I really like this because it's already divided up into quads if you go straight across, and then with an accent color, so all 16 of these colors here are matte, and then you have a nice shimmery color here. So that is very user-friendly because it already has color stories made out for you, so I enjoy that. Being a beginner, it's nice to have kind of a guideline to go with. And then for bronzer, highlight, and blush, I'm going to be dipping into my Tarte Rainforest After Dark, one of the little circle things. I'm not using the eyeshadows because I don't know if they're for sale. I mean, they would be individuals and I don't really see a lot of Tarte individuals, but I can use the highlighter, the bronzer, and the blush. The highlighter is Champagne, the bronzer is Park Avenue Princess, and the blush is Unleashed. Now I do have one non-Tarte product. For my contour, I'm going to be going into the Kat Von D contour palette, and I'm using the lightest one over here, Somber. And then finally have the Tarte Tartist Lash Paint, which is mascara, but it says lash paint, so whatever. And then this I'm really excited about. I got all three of these eyeliners. This is one of this year's Tarte holiday kits. You got all three of these. One end is the actual pencil liner, and then the other end is the actual liquid liner. And then you get three different colors. You get like a burgundy, a brown, and a black. So I'm really excited to play with these. So those are all the products that are on trial this week. Let's get started with the Get Ready With Me. Okay, I'll be starting with the Tarte Timeless Smoothing Primer. And yes, I will be using the viewfinder as a mirror again, since I will be using both hands for this and I can't hold a mirror at the same time. It definitely starts out very thick, but it does smooth on like a dream. Next is the Tarte Amazonian Clay BB Illuminating Moisturizer, and I will be putting that on with a Sephora foundation brush. Even though it says it's a moisturizer, I put it on over the primer because the BB Tinted Moisturizer also says moisturizer, so I figured I would try this kind of more as an all-over illuminating primer and see how it works. I did not like the application of it with a brush, but it did go on nicely over the primer, and the primer did not pill up. Next is Tarte's Amazonian Clay BB Tinted Moisturizer Broad Spectrum SPF 20 Sunscreen in the shade Light, and I will be putting that on with that same Sephora foundation brush. Again, not really a fan of that application with a brush, so I'm going to go over it with a damp beauty blender just to make sure I have everything smoothed out. Oh my gosh, I cannot believe I almost forgot the most important Ulta Tarte product of all, the Tarte Shape Tape Concealer. I have two shades. I have one in fair, one in light. We'll see how they work and which one works better, but I'm going to wait until after I do the eyeshadow to go in with the concealer in case I need to touch some stuff up. I've already put on the Urban Decay Anti-Aging Primer Potion and let that dry down, and I am going to start with, might as well just go from the top. So for my eyeshadow look today, I will be using this entire top row. I'm going to start by taking the color Classic on a Sephora Fluffy Crease brush and work that below my eyebrow and into my inner corner. These do kick up a lot of powder whenever you kind of tap off your brush, so I'm just trying to go in with the lightest amount possible. Next, I'm going to take the color Innocent and put it on the hood of my eye using that same brush. Again, going in with the absolute lightest amount on my brush as possible because these colors are very pigmented, and I kind of just want a little hint of a shade right here. Next, I'm going to work Whimsy throughout the crease and to start shaping the outer V with the Sephora pointed crease brush. So that's a very rich color. I barely put my brush in there and I tapped it off. And now I'm going to blend that out with the Sephora Pro Tapered Crease Brush in number 19. And as you can see on the corner, especially on my left eye, I have already messed up my eyeshadow. That's what I get for putting on my base first. So we're just going to go with it, and then I'll have to correct my base and reapply to sharpen up the edges on both eyes. That rhymed. These colors are so pigmented, but they're so soft and powdery, they just blend out beautifully. But I can see how it'd be really easy to get into trouble really quick with this palette. Next, I'm going in with the color Smoked on a Morphe M506, which I am almost terrified to do because of how pigmented that Orange Whimsy shade was. I am scared that even the slightest amount of this is going to ruin the look, but we shall see. And I'll be blending that out as needed with the Sephora Pointed Crease Brush. Holy crud, that is amazing. I barely touched that shadow. Now I'm going to press Ethereal into the center of my lid just using my finger. So far I've had zero fallout from these shadows. See if the shimmer does the same. And I didn't wet this, I didn't use any special glitter glue or primer or anything. It's just my regular anti-aging primer that kind of already had shadow all over it. Not in all places. It's so hard to smooth out that little extra flap of skin there. I am extremely happy with the performance of these shadows so far. For my lower lash line, I am just going to take a Sephora angled liner brush and go through the colors Innocent, Whimsy, and Smoked, and maybe even a little Classic until I get the lower lash line looking how I want it. There's a lot of powder kick up from that Classic shade. The rest of them either don't have it as bad, or because they're not white, it's harder to see. Okay, now off to clean up my edge a little with some cornflower water and a Q-tip, and then reapply my base as needed. I will say there's very little fallout with this, even including the shimmer shade. It's powdery though in the pan, you do get kick up in the pan, but as long as you tap off your brush, I've just a lot of times just tapped it off once, you get kind of rid of that extra powder and it's fine. So it is going to be a little powdery in the pan, but as long as you tap your brush, you'll be fine once you get it to your face. Next, I'll be going in with the Tarte Shape Tape Concealer in the color Light and seeing if I can do anything about my under eyes. I have only tried this once or twice, but I do remember them saying you use the absolute teeny tiniest amount, so I'm just barely dabbing any on there. I'm going to blend that out with a damp beauty blender. Holy moly, that's amazing. Okay, that worked a little too well, so now I am taking the concealer and going over the high points of my face so it kind of blends a little, because now my under eyes are really bright, even though this is shade Light and my BB cream was shade Light. Apparently there's a big difference in those two words of light. Next, I will be bronzing with Tarte's Park Avenue Princess on the bronzing end of this Sephora double-ended brush. Now, I haven't set my face with powder, so this may be a little tricky to get on and blend out. We shall see. It might have a tendency to stick. Next, I'll be going into the Kat Von D Shade and Light Contour Kit to grab the color Somber to contour with, and I will be using the Sephora 204 double-ended brush, the shaping end. Now for the Tarte blush in Unleashed on a Sonia Kashuk brush. And now back into the Tarte Rainforest After Dark palette to grab that highlighter in the shade Champagne, and I will be using a Sephora fan brush for that. And now on to finishing up the eyes. I will be curling my lashes with the Tweezerman lash curlers. And since this is kind of a warm look, I'm going to be trying the Tartist eyeliner in Burgundy. There's a pencil and a liquid, and I'm going to try using them both. Now, I've never used any Tarte eyeliner before, so this is a new experience for me all around. It's a bit hard to pull down on your eyelid and put on your eyeliner all with the same hand, but I'm making it work. And finally, the Tartist Lash Paint Mascara. And that's it. That's all of the products in this week on trial. Obviously, if I was going out, I would do like fix my brows or, you know, put on some lip products. But since I don't have anything like that in the project, I'm not bothering to put it on right now. So far, I really like pretty much everything. I may be a Tarte product convert now that I'm doing an all Tartes all week kind of deal. Yeah, I really like it. It works good for me and for my lifestyle and my user experience level. I'm really happy. So I know it's just opening statements, but I have a good feeling we're gonna have a good verdict at the end of the week. So thanks everyone for checking this out. Everyone have a great day, and I'll see you later. Bye!